please.
Trustee Collins.
Here.
Trustee Hayek.
Here.
Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Pierce. Trustee Solomon. Trustee Thomas.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. We didn't have a finance committee meeting today, so we don't have a report on that. So our first order of business is the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that someone would like to talk about? Bruce?
Minor though it is, are we doing the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll hold my comment till the
Oh,
minutes.
no, the minutes are part of the consent
Okay.
agenda.
I'd like to add an S to my last name in the roll call in the minutes.
That's a good idea.
It's in there everywhere else, but let the record reflect. Thank you.
Anything else? With that change, could I have a motion?
Actually, I do have a question
Sure.
about the engineering services agreement, just so I understand a little better how the pricing works. In particular, my interest is in whether we had any upside risk on the pricing. There's some language here I'm not familiar with. Cost plus not to exceed basis. Not to exceed sounds good. I want to make sure it means what I think it means on the pricing.
Yeah, that's a seal.
What's that?
It's a
That's
ceiling.
Okay, it is, so this is a ceiling even if some of the, okay, that's,
Correct.
that was it, okay.
And the blended rate on it, I checked, is about $105 an hour, which is
Okay.
not bad for professional services, to say the least.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, could I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Collins.
Yes.
Trustee Hayek.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
We're at the point, if there's anyone in the audience that would like to comment on an item that is not on the agenda, this would be the time to come forward. Is there anyone that wishes to comment?
That's okay.
My name is David Leeson. I'm here with.
Would you go over to the microphone, identify yourself, and
My name is David Leeson. I'm here with Kevin Harvey. We are both the current co-chairs of the Glencoe caucus.
Right.
And we would like to just thank Bruce for 3 terms. I can't imagine even contemplating such a thing. And for Andrew, we hardly knew you in comparison, with just 1 term. But we want to thank you. The village is lucky to have people like you and the rest of the board, because we have been well served. You have been great stewards. We do not, unfortunately, can't offer you a pension for your service. However, for both of you, we have a little piece of prairie
Oh,
that you can put into your yards. Thank you. There's a little goldenrod, there's a little, and some instructions on how to plant them.
Those are both much better than the Illinois State.
And we would like to, a few minutes early, welcome the 3 new trustees, Peter, Jonathan, and Trent, to serve as trustees. If you can be as good as these people were, you have something to look forward to, your own little pieces of prairie, 4 years or more. So thank you very much.
thank you very much.
we're hoping to grow to love the new trustees as much as we've loved the old ones.
You can have this for Joel, we planted in the village.
Any other business? Village manager's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have a few items that I wanted to go over this evening with the board. Relative to electrical aggregation, we've received a number of telephone calls from interested residents regarding letters sent from ComEd this month indicating that they are being automatically transferred back to ComEd as their electricity provider. Just to reiterate, this is accurate, it's supposed to happen, it's in line with the village's approval of a new power supply agreement with Integris earlier this year. All residents in the village's electricity aggregation program will stay with ComEd unless the village locks in a new rate with Integris. Currently, our rate analysis is indicating that ComEd's rates are actually more competitive than Integris's are, but we're going to continue to monitor those over the coming months. For now, residents who may be interested in doing so can shop around for their own electricity provider, or they can stay with ComEd. If there is interest in shopping around, the ICC's website is a good place to start. But I want to just make that statement. We have gotten a number of calls where we've put information out on Glencoe Connect and in other media, but hopefully folks who may be listening in tonight are going to hear it as well. Relative to the bond issue, the 2015 bond issue that was approved through the referendum process back on April 7th, the village board in June is going to be considering an ordinance that sets forth the parameters of the bond sale. I've asked Finance Director Dave Clark to provide just a brief overview of those parameters this evening in advance of the board's consideration of the ordinance in June, and certainly there are some members at the dais tonight that won't be here in June, but we do have our 3 new trustees sitting in the audience who will be sworn in a little later this evening, and I wanted to make sure we had a bit of an overview of this. So Dave, could you walk us through that, please?
Sure, the parameters ordinance will give guidance to the financial advisor.
Microphone's not. We just need to slow it closer.
New perspective. The parameters ordinance will basically give guidance to the financial advisor as he goes to the marketplace to conduct a competitive sale for the bonds on behalf of the village. It is anticipated at this time that there will be actually 2 issuances, $5 million each. The first issuance would be, we would receive proceeds this July, and the next $5 million portion would be received next April. The parameters basically started being developed prior to the referendum. At the Finance Committee, many of these parameters were discussed as far as the length of the issuance and the like. The rate of interest that can be applied to this issuance. The parameters generally will be the parameters will also establish designated officials or officers who can act once the sale is actually transacted, rather than having to come back to the board again. The designated officers, which are generally going to be the village manager, myself, the finance committee chair, and the village president. Any one of those in combination can act on the issuance. And the parameters right now are still being reviewed and formalized, and they will be brought back to the village board at the June meeting.
Thanks. Anyone have any questions for Dave on that? Thanks, Dave. Green Bay Road construction. We are just about to commence construction resurfacing on Green Bay Road from Park Avenue north to Lake Cook Road, and that is set to begin on Monday, June 1st. Green Bay is going to remain open to traffic during construction. However, we are encouraging bicycle traffic to monitor the construction conditions and to utilize alternate routes as necessary. We are going to, as we have typically done, we will provide updates to the construction process on the village's website. This is a relatively short duration construction project. Our hope is that if the weather cooperates, that's the word I was looking for, we will be done by July 31st. So we'll be commencing that shortly. Last month I announced the village would be hosting several informational meetings to discuss our water system study that was presented to the board in March. This week, residents should have received a mailing from the village that outlines 3 dates for these upcoming informational meetings. The first is an open house meeting that's scheduled for Thursday, May 28th at 7 p.m., so just about a week from now, in this room. The meeting will include a presentation by staff and our consultants and an opportunity to talk one-on-one with our staff and consultants to learn more about the study. In addition, the Glencoe Community Relations Forum is hosting and moderating 2 community forum discussions in June. The first will be Monday, June 8th at 7 p.m. at the Glencoe Union Church, and the second is Saturday, June 27th at 10 a.m. at the Glencoe Public Library. These discussions are somewhat different. They are meant to be informal opportunities for residents to learn about the water treatment plant options and especially to engage in an open, informal dialogue about the water study in general. As a general reminder, these meetings are intended to be strictly informational in nature at this point. The presentations and discussions will focus on introducing the issue to the community, and we will be gathering initial feedback that staff is going to digest and put into a form for the village board that we will present later on this summer, in addition to other information that we are currently still generating. It's important to note that these are not meetings where there will be public discourse as to the right solution, only that there is going to be the opportunity to provide feedback on the number of solutions that have been presented in the Strand report. We have a great deal of information on the village's website. Today, actually, we just generated a QR code for the water system page, and we're going to be sending that around and getting that information out so anybody who's interested in it can quickly navigate to that part of the website. Certainly, anyone who has questions on the topic should submit those to waterplant at villageofglencoe.org. We are posting answers to whatever questions we receive via email onto the website as well, so it's a really great way to learn more about that project. Few upcoming special events that I just want to remind everyone about. The most near one to us date-wise is Memorial Day, and our annual Memorial Day Remembrance Ceremony will take place Monday at 11 a.m. at Veterans Memorial Park. This is a solemn ceremony that will include a program developed by the Historical Society that commemorates the 70th anniversary of VE Day and the end of World War II in Europe. In the event it is raining, and there is a chance this year, we will move the ceremony to the Takeoff Center. One thing to note, there is no parade this year. Unfortunately, the school band that has typically participated doesn't have enough members. A lot of kids are on vacation for the holiday. And the same thing was true of the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and so without those 3 groups, it really would have just been the public safety vehicles driving through downtown. So we have canceled the parade for this year, and we will reassess that moving forward. The Grand Prix is coming up. That is Saturday, May 30th. Parking and traffic restrictions in downtown will be imposed beginning at 5 p.m. Friday the 29th and will be in effect until late Saturday evening. Lots more information on the 9th annual event on the village's website, a link to their program website.
Like 7 or 8 food trucks too.
A number of food trucks, yes, and we have worked with the Grand Prix planners to fix a number of the logistics problems that existed last year, so hopefully traffic flow in the downtown will be much better than it was back in 2014.
Last year, we had some residents question why there was live music going until later, and the answer was because the board said that was okay. What are we doing this year, and how are we communicating that?
They will be finished, the band will be finished within the village's noise ordinance parameters, so the band will be over at 11 p.m. We've also asked them to think about a better way of positioning speakers so that they don't project out, they project in. Hopefully that doesn't allow the sound to carry, but on a cool, calm night as we had last year, it was projecting out all the way to my house, which is about a mile north, so I could hear the band very clearly. Last but not least, Movies on the Green kicks off on Wyman Green for the summer season on Friday, June 5th. We will be playing Big Hero 6, which I just had the privilege of watching this past weekend, and I laughed pretty hard for a kid's movie. It's pretty funny. That movie will begin at dusk. That is the first Friday of the month in June, July, and August out here behind me on Wyman Green. And we encourage everyone to come out for those events. I wanted to mention a couple of new faces in the audience this evening. Sharon Tanner is our new Assistant Village Manager. She's been with us now since April 27th. Has been a wonderful addition to our staff team. I don't know that I had a chance to introduce her to everyone up here or out in the audience, but there will be lots of opportunities to meet Sharon. She's getting herself very well embroiled into all sorts of things that I'm throwing her into. So welcome to Sharon. I wanted to note also, he couldn't be with us tonight, Mike Moran, our longtime General Superintendent in the Public Works Department, retired on May 15th after 36 years of service to the village. Certainly we wish Mike well in his retirement. I know that I will miss his smile and his unwavering dedication. But I'm happy to report that the position is in good hands. Don Kirk, who has been with the village for a couple of years now as the assistant to the Public Works Director, has assumed the General Superintendent role and is already making a positive impact in his new role with the village. So a few new faces out in the staff, as there will be new faces at the dais this evening. Finally, I just would like to note my thanks to the outgoing trustees. You're the ones who hired me, and I'm very happy to be here, and very grateful for the opportunity to have worked with you, learned from you, and look forward to continuing to serve you now that you're just regular residents, like everybody else. And that's it, unless anyone has any questions for me.
I do have one point of clarification.
Yes.
The water plant study is the engineering study?
Correct.
Correct, so that it's only dealing with the engineering costs of the options considered, correct?
We will be discussing certainly certain aspects of the costs that have been developed in the engineering study, but to reiterate that fact, the staff is still working diligently on a series of additional data points that relate to the costs of all of those options, and so that information will be presented at a later time, likely later in calendar year 2015.
So this is really, as we've said before, just one piece, or the beginning piece, that frames it, and then there's lots more to be put in place and for us to continue as part of the educational function before we get to the questions and debating what we should do. So that's still a year
Long
to
ways
2
off.
years away. Any other questions? Okay, Barbara, was there a meeting of the Plan Commission?
Indeed. We did a lot of appearance reviews at the Plan Commission over the last few weeks. There was an interesting one from my point of view, at least, an exterior modification to the building at 376 Park Avenue for Andrea Goldman Design, and that's right across the street from the Historical Society. And it sounds like, I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be an interesting building. There's going to be a courtyard with trees and other flora, presumably not fauna in there, interesting lighting, and they do an interesting job of matching some of the historical nature of the downtown with their own modern twist. So that was pretty exciting. I look forward to it. Another interesting one, Writers Theater. Their signage was approved, and I think I hope everybody enjoys it. It has some pretty unique elements. Obviously, some special design people working with them. We also are going to have a new restaurant in town at 667 Vernon. That's an Italian restaurant called Cibo Trattoria. They had design review for a new window. And Fields Infinity also had some design review. It was we did a little more on the downtown plan. We did a review of all that we've done in the public engagement part of our project. And there was a lot to that, so it was good to review it, and we talked about how we continue to engage the public going forward, including in talking about the south end of downtown, which seems to be the part that interests people the most, and I think understandably so. We're going to try to get, some sense of what various options might conceivably cost, for instance. That's got to be a relevant factor. So that all continues, and I will keep you up to date as we do and learn more.
Thank you. Trustee Thomas, was there a golf committee meeting?
There was. It will come as no surprise to anybody that given our wonderful spring weather, which tends not to coincide with wonderful golf weather, there have been fewer rounds this spring, but as usual, because of the job still it does, we are still exceeding our budget revenues over costs. There are a number of improvements to the course that have been ongoing. There's a new tee box for the 10th tee, which actually looks quite spectacular. And but a lot of what goes on is more in the nature, I guess, of beautification. It's not specifically golf related. For example, there are 2 new bluebird houses that have been installed because the course is Audubon certified, and this is consistent with that certification. There are willow trees that have fallen over. That seems to be happening more and more as we go on. So they've had to be cleaned out, but also, and we've had ash tree issues that everybody's aware of. But we are replacing trees in strategic places. So that's the kind of thing I think that perhaps people aren't aware of, but that goes on all the time. The other thing is, at one period of time, there were all these sort of asphalt paths, and Stella and Dave Arden have made a point of trying to convert those slowly but surely to more of a granite path material. And I think it looks much better, it's much more natural. And so that was one of the other things that we heard about.
Excellent. From the President's appointment, our next village board meeting will be June the 18th, and at that time we go into our summer session, so to speak, so ties and sport coats become optional, and one can come here in their short sleeve shirts and on the board. The other thing that I wanted to mention is I wanted to thank the gentleman from the caucus for coming and recognizing our terrific trustees that are going off the board at this point in time, and we very much appreciate you recognizing what a great job they have done. Okay. This is the time when the gentlemen that have just been recognized have a chance to say some thoughts about their time and going off the board, and so I would like to start with Bruce.
Well, thank you. If Glencoe government is good, and it's very good, it's because those of you who are the professional staff do your job so well. And I must say, for people that don't know this, what I do professionally is I work with governments to help them do things better. So I have some background that I've brought to this position that's given me an eye to what to look for. And I just find it here. I've had occasion in my home to have to call 911. They've been prompt, professional, and their bedside manner has been terrific. Dave, you have put up with my changing the format of the financial reports so often with grace and patience. Thank you for that. Dave Mao, you just can never retire. That's just all there is to it. You have listened to some of the issues that get people hot and bothered and stayed calm, and you've been a joy to work with. Stella, you just have no idea if you saw the old days. things run great, and thank you for that. And I know every month we try to give you praise, but you really deserve it. So to all of you who do the hard work, thank you. I know the work isn't just done by the department heads. I'm aware of that. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done, so all of you had your hands in this, and thank you. It really makes Glencoe a wonderful place, and I appreciate that. To those of you on the board that have listened to me, go on and on. I'm sorry, but that's now going to end. I'm going off the board. It has been a pleasure. This is a fabulous, fabulous community. We are so lucky to live here. And not just because it's pretty and it's nice, but there's some amazing people in town doing good things. And I'm often inspired to see the creativity of people in all the ways that they express it. Not just their business pursuits, but what a great place we live. So to have a few years to be part of this, it's been really special. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Bruce.
Well, I'll start where Bruce did, which is just a hats off to the staff and Phil. We were so pleased with the decision we made. And you know, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of businesses and lead a business now, and the degree of professionalism and excellence is really impressive. It's in every element, in every part of the village staff. So it's been a real pleasure. You guys are true professionals, and it makes me very proud to be part of Glencoe. I want to thank the board. You know, you read a lot of stuff in the papers and, you know, federal politics and that sort of thing. It's just so great to work with a group that, you know, has disagreements, different points of view, but shows up authentically and genuinely to represent a point of view. And I've just found the working of this board to be very authentic and true. I want to thank the new trustees. It's a testament to our community to step up and serve. So Trent and Jonathan and Peter, thank you for raising your hand to serve. It is an honor and a privilege. And I want to thank the caucus for choosing me, or your predecessors choosing me. I try to take very seriously and to my heart to try to represent the best interests of the village, and it's an honor to have had that opportunity to serve. If I had a piece of advice to our incoming trustees, it would be to actively question, to think about the way things are done and ask why. Think about the role of a trustee, think about how agendas are set, how priorities are set. I think that, especially with 3 people coming on, you have a real opportunity, and I'm very hopeful that you'll embrace that deeply. I wish I could be here with you for the next 4 years to do some of that. As you know, I've invested a lot more time in our medical mission program and the Aspen Institute. We had our first mission trip to Honduras a month ago, which was a great success, and we're planning many, many more. So Nicole and I are devoting our time and treasure to hoping to connect our 8,000 surgeons in my business to finding the spirit of service in their own life and giving of their time and of their treasure, we hope. And so I'll kind of close with a thought, which is, I think the thing that was passed to me by my father and my parents, who both served their community a lot, was something that a lot of authors and writers over the years have written about, from Gandhi to Aristotle, which is, you know, a life dedicated to service is perhaps the most meaningful life. And, you know, it's not only the board and the staff, it's everyone in this room is really giving of yourselves to serve the community and others. And so I'm very grateful to have been a part of it. So thank you.
You were going to read a statement for Trustee Solomon, who was unable to be with us tonight.
Trustee Solomon is out of the country and has submitted a statement that he's asked for me to read into the record.
I think you need to say where he is so that we don't feel bad.
I'm going to leave that at the end because he has a little joke about it. So this is from the voice of Joel Solomon. Mr. President, trustees, village professionals, and Glencoe citizens. It is with gratitude that I conclude 8 years of service to the village as trustee. Prior to this time, I spent 8 years on the Police Pension Board, served on a Home Rule Committee, and 1 term as a caucus member, including a stint as co-chairman. I rate these activities as among my most appreciated. I thank each and every one of you for this opportunity. We all know Glencoe is unique and a wonderful community. What I did not know was the extent to which our citizenry and staff reflect the highest standards of professionalism and commitment. Between our former trustees, current trustees, and newly elected trustees, I have had the pleasure of working with 14 intelligent, interesting, and highly accomplished individuals. Kogan, Cowens, Deb, Keefe, Malamed, Schubart, Boat, Hayek, Miller, Pierce, Thomas, Mulvaney, Vree, and Cornell. Between former and current professionals, I've had the pleasure of working with 21 individuals exhibiting the highest standards of excellence. Niemark, Mao, Brown, Milks, Filippini, Nanos, Scalera, Francis, Parch, Formosa, Clark, Voling, Joseph, Kebby, Jones, Hood, Ziegler, Lewandowski, Elrod, Boll, and Kraus. These persons are what made our tenure a success. These employees' longevity in their jobs adds immeasurably to the goodwill our community enjoys. Looking over the term, it is interesting to note what was accomplished. Among other things, we hired a new village manager, a new director of public safety, a new assistant village manager, and our first IT professional. We retained Writers Theater, that's in caps and underlined. Let me repeat, we retained Writers Theater, also in caps and underlined. In conjunction with this retention, from its possibly having moved to Highland Park, the contributions of Karen Thomas and Lee Brown, under the supervision of Scott Feldman, cannot be overstated. Additionally, the electricity aggregation program was implemented, Center Court parking lot was improved, bonds were issued in 09 and 12, steep slope regulations were promulgated, storm sewer improvements were attended to, street end decisions were made, and the village's first strategic plan was produced. It also is interesting to note what we did not do. A residence on Vernon was not purchased for parking. A golf course residential development was not pursued when the area's geology proved untenable. Harkening back to my original 2006 trustee application, I do believe we fulfilled an ambition for seeing the village be maintained in a similar fashion in order that it might be a comparable option available to our children. We left our campground in as good a condition as we found it. In fact, I believe that with Writers Theater's transformational activity, we have left a vastly improved community. Also, Glencoe's successful branding by the Glencoe Historical Society as a Frank Lloyd Wright community is worthy of similar special recognition. As I move on to spend more time with Evanston's adoption agency, The Cradle, I expect the teams of trustees and professionals stand ready to handle Glencoe's future tasks. With the golf clubhouse and village water plant issues on the horizon, I believe these volunteers and professionals are in for a more strenuous tenure than the one we experienced. Hence my gratitude for concluding these 8 years. I, for one, will appreciate each and every one of their future decisions, efforts, and actions. I do, however, implore all future boards to continue our policies of buying no more expensive services than what is desired by the community. Looking back, I can tell you I never regretted failing to have spent more money. On the other hand, I do feel there were instances where costs exceeded necessity, i.e. 2008's 4% employee raises, another year's budget including step raises on top of percentage raises, which resulted in costs being higher than trustees understood, and finally what I believe was an instance of mismanagement that resulted in public safety's unfortunate decision to unionize. I would like to direct special thanks to Glencoe Village managers Paul Harlow and Phil Corrali, the village presidents Scott Feldman and Larry Levin. These individuals are the leaders who have accomplished the majority of what was done. 8 budgets win my admiration for thoughtfulness, conservatism, and an ownership attitude toward the village's best interests. It is admirable how employees without a for-profit type ownership stake still have provided such a high level of professionalism and productivity. We are fortunate and we know it. Finally, concerning Presidents Feldman and Levin, I doubt the general citizenry understands how much these individuals provide oversight concerning policy on almost a full-time basis. These gentlemen set standards which one rarely would expect from a citizen serving in a volunteer position. We owe them both a great deal of gratitude for their time, thoughtfulness, accessibility, and concern. It is due to the involvement of these quality individuals, trustees, and village professionals that I know Glencoe's future remains very bright. Thanks again for allowing me to be of service. P.S. Be assured, as this is read, I'm wearing my Village of Glencoe jacket throughout Tuscany, and if anybody asks, I'm telling them I'm the village president.
We are honored to have Scott Feldman here tonight. Is there anything you would like to add or say, Scott?
I don't think so. Only to say thank you to Bruce, to Andrew, to Joel. All of them helped me very much during my term, and as I know they helped you, Larry, and that's why I'm here, to say thank you.
I think that was a wonderful statement by Joel, and thank you, Scott. We've reached the point in tonight's proceedings where it is appropriate to adjourn the meeting of our current village board for the last time. This is for me one of those unusual moments in time when you experience diametrically opposed emotions, both sadness and joy. There is the sadness of losing 3 outstanding committed trustees, followed by the joy of having the privilege of swearing in 3 new trustees who are committed to using their talents to protect our future. I have known and worked closely with Bruce, Joel, and Andrew, first as fellow trustees and then as village president. No one could ask for better, more dedicated colleagues. I will miss Joel's kind but strong and thoughtful guidance on how to keep the ambience and high level of superb service that sets the Glencoe he grew up in and loves apart from other suburbs. Bruce's dedication to making sure our residents' voices were heard and taken into account has set a standard that will be hard for future trustees to equal. And of course, Andrew's drive to protect our residents' personal liberty and do it in a cost-effective and very efficient manner will continue to echo in the forefront of my thoughts. The old expression, gone but not forgotten, will not only be true here, but applies to the important contributions each of them has made and which are their legacy to us as we move forward. I truly thank you all for your help and support for me and your outstanding service for your village and your fellow residents. May I have a motion to adjourn, sign adopt?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Oh, wait. They're very near.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, having been duly elected to the office of village trustee in the village of Glencoe, in the county of Cook, in the state of Illinois, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village trustee to the best of my ability. Thank you and congratulations. Will you please call the roll?
Trustee Cornell. Here. Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Mulvaney.
Here.
Trustee Pierce. Trustee Thomas.
Here.
Trustee Vree. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, our first order of business is to approve the appointments to various committees and one appointment to the plan committee. What I will do is go and read through the appointments that are pending before us, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve. Appointments read the standing official village committees, or I should say village official positions. As village attorney, Steve Elrod. Village collector, Dave Clark. Village marshal, Carrie Lewandowski. Street commissioner, David Mao. Village treasurer, David Clark. Village clerk, Phil Corrali. And then deputy village clerk, Laura Bowl. Appointments to the standing village board committees. Finance committee, the appointment of trustee Vree as chair and trustees Thomas and Miller to the committee. The law committee would be trustees Thomas as chair and Cornell to the committee. The public works committee is trustee Cornell and as chairman and trustee Vree. The social services committee, trustee Mulvaney as chair and trustee Miller on the committee. The golf committee, trustee Thomas as its chair. And I'll give you the rest of the members as we get to the full. The affordable housing committee, trustee Thomas as chair and trustee Vree as the other committee member. Appointment to the village boards and representatives from the board to village committees. For the golf advisory committee, trustee Thomas as chair. For the golf clubhouse clubhouse task force, trustee Thomas as chair. To the community relations forum, trustee Mulvaney. To the planning commission, trustee Miller as vice chair. And to the sustainability task force, trustee, which is a subsidiary of the plan commission, trustee Mulvaney as chair. Appointments to the to the zoning commission and the zoning board of appeals, I've nominated Gail Listner. Can I have a motion to approve the appointments?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, can I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Cornell. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Mulvaney. Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Vree. Yes.
Okay. An enjoyable part of things we do is, at this point in time, I have 3 proclamations that I would like to submit to the board, and I will start, and I will read each of them, and then I will ask for a motion to adopt the proclamations. The first one is a proclamation with respect to former trustee Bruce Collins. Whereas Bruce Collins has served with distinction as a village trustee for the village of Glencoe between 2005 and 2015, and whereas Bruce Collins has consistently served the best interests of the village of Glencoe and its residents through a detailed, objective, and deliberate evaluation of issues in his role as trustee in furtherance of his commitment to maintaining the quality of life in Glencoe, and whereas Bruce Collins has served his various trustee assignments with distinction as chair of the Finance Committee and member of the Community Grants Committee of the Village Board, And whereas Bruce Collins has unselfishly given of his time for 10 years and fulfilled his responsibilities to his fellow citizens in a most professional, responsible, and honorable manner, promoting the fair treatment of all individuals by being a clear voice for open, responsive government for all who live, work, visit, or do business in the village of Glencoe. And whereas Bruce Collins has consistently approached the various issues coming before the village board with great consideration for the rights and values of those impacted and represented the interests of all residents with support and wisdom. And now therefore be it resolved that the village president and board of trustees of the village of Glencoe, Illinois express on behalf of all citizens of the village their appreciation to Bruce for his outstanding service to the community. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this proceeding, and that an executed copy of the resolution inscribed with the signature of the village president and bearing the corporate seal of the village of Glencoe, as attested by the village clerk, be presented to Bruce Collins, dated this 21st day of May, A.D. 2015, at the village of Glencoe, county of Cook, Illinois. What I think I would do is I would ask for a motion to adopt that proclamation.
So moved.
Second?
And I have all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we've adopted Bruce's. Now come down and we'll give them out after we've got them. Bruce, come forward. It is with great pleasure that I'm going to give that to you. Thank you for taking Bruce. My next proclamation is with respect to Andrew Hyde. Whereas Andrew Hyde served with distinction as a village trustee for the village of Glencoe between 2011 and 2015. And whereas Andrew Hyde consistently served the best interest of the village of Glencoe and its residents through a detailed, objective, and deliberate evaluation of issues in his role as trustee in furtherance of his commitment to maintaining the quality of life in Glencoe. And whereas Andrew Hyde served his various trustees' assignments with distinction as a member of the Finance Committee, and whereas Andrew Hyde gave unselfishly of his time for 4 years and fulfilled his responsibilities to his fellow citizens in a most professional, responsible, and honorable manner, and was instrumental in promoting community values and advocating for responsible managed government in service to all individuals who live, work, visit, or do business in the village of Glencoe. And whereas Andrew Hyde consistently provided a reasoned, sound perspective to the various issues coming before the board and represented the interest of all residents with support and wisdom. And now therefore be it resolved that the village president and the board of trustees of the village of Glencoe, Illinois, express on behalf of all the citizens of the village their appreciation to Andrew Hyde for his outstanding service to the community. Be it further resolved that the resolution be spread upon the minutes of this proceeding, and that an executed copy of the resolution inscribed with the signature of the president and bearing the corporate seal, the village of Glencoe, is attested by the village clerk, be presented to Andrew Hyde, dated this 21st day of May, A.D. 2015, at the village of Glencoe, county of Cook, Illinois. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Excellent. Is Andrew still there?
He left.
Okay. Lastly, but certainly not least, I would like to read a proclamation with respect to Joel Solomon. Whereas Joel Solomon has served with distinction as a village trustee for the village of Glencoe between 2007 and 2015, and whereas Joel Solomon consistently served the best interest of the village of Glencoe and its residents through a detailed, objective, and deliberate evaluation of issues in his role as trustee, in furtherance of his commitment to maintain the quality of life in Glencoe. And whereas Joel Solomon served his various trustee assignments with distinction as chair of the Street Inns Task Force, chair of the Affordable Housing Committee, member of the Finance Committee, and member of the Community Grants Committee of the Village Board. And whereas Joel Solomon gave unselfishly of his time for 8 years and fulfilled his responsibilities to his fellow citizens in a most professional, responsible, and honorable manner, and was instrumental in ensuring the quality of village services be maintained effectively and efficiently to benefit all individuals who live, work, visit, or do business in the village of Glencoe. And whereas Joel Solomon consistently provided a thoughtful and insightful approach to the various issues coming before the village board and represented the interest of all residents with support and wisdom. And now therefore be it resolved that the village president and the board of trustees of the village of Glencoe, Illinois, express on behalf of all the citizens of the village their appreciation to Joel Solomon for his outstanding service to the community. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this proceeding, and that an executed copy of the resolution inscribed with the signature of the village president and bearing the corporate seal of the village of Glencoe, as attested by the village clerk, be presented to Joel Solomon. Dated this 21st day of May, A.D. 2015, at the village of Glencoe, Cook County, Illinois. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It carries. Thank you very much. It is appropriate this time that we be able to actually celebrate and have some cake with our new trustees and that, so I think I would like to hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Cornell. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Mulvaney.
Aye.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Vree.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.